All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm Mike Koval with Stahls today and this Wednesday afternoon. And so what we're going to be covering today is Stahls Spirit Sale. And what that is, it's an e-commerce software that allows you to create client-specific websites. And an extremely popular market for this style of website is for schools. And what better time than right now to start capturing school business? Because what we have coming up, we're at that time of the year when it's graduation time. And unfortunately, with all the schools across the nation not being able to finish out their school year, many of these seniors aren't going to be able to participate in commencement because of what we have going on with the world today. So what we could do with Spirit Sale and help you as a business is set up custom websites for local high schools. And let's not forget about all the other different events that commemorate, graduating into the next year. Think of preschools, think of kindergarten graduation, think of moving up to the middle school. Each one of these schools now can have a custom website geared towards those classes to at least have some sort of memorabilia for these extremely important occasions in a student's life from graduating here. And so what we're going to show you today is how you could set up one of these stores and some quick examples just to get the creative juices flowing and helping you create these styles of stores. So before we get into taking a look, Deborah, if you could please launch a couple of poll questions for us.
All right, Mike, we launched the first one, which is, do you currently have an online store? It's looking about 1/3 of the viewers have a store currently.
Okay, great.
All right, I'm going to start the next poll. So this one is, are you a current Spirit Sale user? And we're about 1/4 of the people, yes, 20% are saying yes, they are Spirit Sale users. The rest are not. So we've got some newbies in there.
All right, great. So you newbies, this will be a great quick course on just how quickly and easily Spirit Sale could be utilized, and start to think of many different ways that you're going to be able to then utilize it for your store. Because let's not forget, it's not just limited to setting up sites for schools. While that is one of the more popular markets for this style of websites, but think of once sports and teams get back together, teams, league business, but also your current businesses, local businesses like coffee shops, whatever, you're going to be able to create any type of store that you want. And so as we go through this presentation, please feel free to chat any questions in. We have Deborah answering questions behind the scenes, and for any other questions like that, I'll be jumping in to answer as well. So please chat them throughout. And now what we're going to take a look at first, I'm going to share my screen here and share. All right, and so what we're looking at right now on my screen, this is a website that was developed from by one of our Spirit Sale subscribers, and this is dedicated strictly to the class of 2020. Like I said, now seniors aren't going to be able to take part in this tremendous occasion in them, and not only are they going to be disappointed, but think about the parents, the moms and the dads that may not get to see their kid walk down the aisle and accept their diploma. But what you're now going to be able to do is set up this store and sell a lot of different products. So driving down the road, I'm sure you've seen already the yard signs and the decals on the back of people's cars commemorating this large event. And so the power and the flexibility of Spirit Sale allows you to do this and sell really any type of product that you want through here. And so, like, for instance, this site here has a tremendous amount of products here in a variety of different things here. So long sleeve t-shirts, so they can click in here. And then what we'll take a look at is how you're quickly and easily able to set up these style of garments. So with a specific class logo on the front, and then even taking it a step further, adding more value to the consumer, giving them the ability to personalize with names and numbers, again, to be able to have at least some sort of memorabilia from this important occasion in their lives. So they're able to personalize with names and numbers, drop a custom logo on there, and then in addition to whatever you supply on the front. So these types of transfers or decorations here, whether you're screen printing, embroidering, Spirit Sale is going to give you that power to create these things and then start getting orders. And so a lot of different options here. Again, yard signs, we're clicking into this one. You're able to set up custom areas with a photo and things like that. And then here you could put in the description. So like, please send your name that you would like and the picture. And then that way, once this order comes in, you're able to then customize that and send them this completed product so that they're able to then display it in their yard or wherever it is for their graduation party. So another big thing right now, yes, apparel and decals and things, but let's take a look at face masks as well, because we know now with where we are at with the virus and, not sure when it's going to go away or how we're going to combat this, but face coverings we see now, they're going to become pretty much a part of our everyday wardrobe. So think about that as another sale for you and your business, not just for schools, but anything else. So selling these face masks with customization on there as well. So a big ticket item right now for people and a high trending product across all markets. So I just wanted to have you take a look at the sites and some of the things that you're able to do. And then once you start setting up these stores, if you approach that school specifically for the 2020, it's a great success. Let's think of all the business now. Once back to school starts in fall, then you're able to set up stores for the school themselves for all the spirit wear and things like that. So just so much opportunity here when it comes to schools. And then once you make that one school happy, you probably landed a customer for life. So what we're going to take a look at now is we're going to hop on over to the Spirit Sale software itself and just show you how quickly and easily that you're going to be able to set up one of these stores. And so to do that in Spirit Sale, it's an online cloud-based software. So once you do get subscribed, you'll have full access to this online. You're not going to have to install any additional softwares on your laptop or computer to utilize this. Everything is done here online. And so when you create new store, we'll just simply click create new store. And then before we do that, you're also able to manage all the payments for the site that you create, as well as shipping items if you want. Now, you don't have to ship items. You could set them for a pickup at your business or a pickup at the school. So you could kind of manage all that. I won't get into much of that now. But for those of you who aren't subscribed to Spirit Sale, you could sign up for a full live demonstration of this that gets more in depth as well. But we'll go in here and we're going to create a new store. And then here, the first step here is we're going to build the basic framework, which is generate our URL for the store, choose our designers and our shipping methods and things. And so when you set up the store, you enter the name in here. So I'm going to do Test Grads 2020 _A. And so I'm doing that because every site that you create within here needs to have a unique URL. Just like if you went to GoDaddy or some other domain name registrar, if somebody already purchased a specific domain that you wanted, unfortunately it will be unavailable and you have to add a hyphen in here. So I'm just using kind of a dummy URL. So testgrads2020a.spiritsale.com. And that's going to be our URL. And that's what you'll then disperse to the school, mark it on your Facebook page so that then they could get that out there and the parents and the upcoming graduates are able to purchase the items that you publish there. And once you have that name built, now we could choose our designer, which will allow you to incorporate the artwork on the products that you want to sell. We have three options. We have our Stahls CAD Cut Designer, which will allow you to bring in any of the CAD Cut templates that we have available at stahls.com. All of them are going to be editable to suit your needs. Likewise, a popular designer here would be the Transfer Express Easy View Designer, and that would allow you to bring in any of the Easy Prints templates that we have there, again, to customize them. And screen printed transfers is ideal when it comes to school business because you're typically going to have a higher volume of orders that warrant a screen printed transfer. Or you could also choose the DIY designer. And this one has the most flexibility because it also allows you to import your own artwork that you may design in Corel or Illustrator or whatever design program you're using. So we're going to use that one here today. And then once you have your designer chosen, then you'll choose your shipping method. So like you could do a pickup at your business, pickup at the school, or set a free shipping, but you could also link UPS, FedEx, or the postal service so that they could choose those options to have their items shipped once they order. In our case, I'm just going to use a free ship right now. And then same thing goes with payment methods. We're able to incorporate a PayPal account, a Stripe, or authorize.net for credit card processing. So you could choose whatever you want. In our case, we're not exchanging funds today, so I'm just going to choose the offline payment. And then we have our themes here. And these are just the templates of the website that you're going to build. And all of these templates are editable, so you could upload your own graphics and logos and things like that. So you're making it look like that specific graduating senior class. And you could choose any of these templates. And so then these next few steps we'll revisit once we actually publish the store. All right, so when we create a store, Spirit Sale will give you, we have the ability to add stock products and custom products. So what the stock products section is here is we have integrated with Sanmar as well as SNS Activewear. And so being incorporated with them, all of those products that those two wholesalers offer are already preloaded into the system, meaning the image views of the front and the back of the products are already loaded. Likewise, all the product variants, meaning the colors that are available, as well as all the different size options. So using stock products, it's much more of a point and click the item and much easier way to add products. But this doesn't limit you to using those two wholesalers or just selling apparel. We could add any other type of custom product that we want. It's just more of a manual process in setting up the photos that you want to have displayed and the different product variants. So it's not that it's a complicated process, it's just more steps. And so we'll cover both of these today. So the first one we'll do is a stock product. And so once you click on stock, then you're going to be able to go ahead and add Sanmar or SNS. And now once you choose one, you're not locked into that one. You could do a mix and match of Sanmar garments, SNS garments, as well as any of the custom ones that you want to create for this store. And that's what's nice with Spirit Sale. You have unlimited amount of product offerings, so you could sell as little as one product to 1,000 products if you want to. There's no limit to anything that you could do. And so I'm just going to choose a Sanmar garment today. And since we're going to set up a store for a senior class, so here with Sanmar, here's all the garments that are available. So I could either use the search box or I could use these different categories to search for a particular item that I want to sell. Or I could simply scroll through page by page until I find the item that I want. And so in this case, let's say I'm going to choose this adult men's shirt. And so once you click on it, since we're in the Sanmar, all of these things are already preloaded by way of the color offering and the sizes. And so you could offer up to 100 different product variants on here. So you have the ability to add nearly as many colors as you'd like. So in our case, I'm just going to choose the black one today, but you could choose multiple colors. So if they were black and gold, you could have both of those as well. Just simply put a checkbox in whatever colors you want to add here. And then once you click on that, then you're presented with all the size options here. And so here, if I just wanted to offer the standard sizes, small through extra large, I could turn those off. But again, you have the flexibility to add whatever products and variants that you want. And now the pricing here is from Transfer Express, but if you have a Sanmar account, you could still change these pricing out to reflect your costs for the blank garments that you might be using through these. And so we've already chosen our designer with the DIY. And then here, if we are going to ship these items via one of these services, we could add a product weight so that way, once we link any of these shipping accounts that you have, it'll utilize that weight and calculate the retail shipping cost to that consumer. So you're not missing out on any dollars there. So you're not shortchanging yourself on what you're paying in shipping. And so now once you have that, we could import the product, and then here's then where we're going to be able to then design this product for publishing onto the store for the consumers to purchase. And so since we've used the Sanmar products, both of the images here for the front and the back are already loaded into this system. So, and I could decorate both sides of these. And so for the front, since we're in the DIY designer, we'd be able to import our own graphics as well. So if you already had a graphic designed in Corel or Illustrator, you've been able to bring that in. But I want to highlight some of the templates that we have within Spirit Sale that could help you out. So what's nice about having already made templates is that, if you like the design, the school likes the design that you chose, that's going to save you a ton of time in artwork. Again, just simply utilizing one of our templates, and then you'll be able to quickly and easily drop that in. And so I can click on my templates, and these do pull from our CADWorks Live. I could also pull them in from Stahls as well. But here, they're categorized in any number of different ways. And so let's say if we're doing that class of, so schools, we have a class of category. And then once you choose that, here we're presented with a variety of different templates, all of them which are editable, because we see these are year 2016, but we're way beyond that. So you just simply scroll through until you find the one that you want. So say I like this particular template here. So I could click on that, and now it's going to drop it here onto our graphic. And so obviously if we wanted to do a tone on tone, we'd leave it black, but we could represent a different color there. And so here I could click on this checkbox, and then here I'm able to then represent a different color if I'd like to. And so if you're a user of our heat transfer products, we have all of our color palettes loaded into the system as well. So for fashion film, thermofilm, whatever kind of product that you want to add, it's here. And so say if we just wanted to do a basic white design, we could position that now and where we want to go. And there's a little top hat on here that you can't see because it's black, but I'm going to delete that. And so here, all of these templates are customizable. So in our case, it's the year 2020. I'm going to double click on that year right there. And here we have 2016. So now we could update that to the class of 2020. And here I could change the fonts as well if I'd like. Here we have hundreds and hundreds of fonts already loaded in here to the system. Again, pulling from CADWorks Live, and as well as a lot of the Stahls templates that are available in pre-cuts and things like that. But you could also import your own fonts if you want. So if you have a specific font you need for this school, you could import that true type font here and then be able to access that here in the store. And so here we have our design size. So an adult shirt, I'd say probably 11 inches wide is probably a good size there. So we'll resize that. But right now it still looks a little disproportionate to the photo itself, but I don't want to change this design size anymore because I want it to be 11 by about 6 inches high, because that's about standard for an adult shirt. So what's nice is once you start getting orders in, when we're in the DIY designer, that's going to allow you to then download these vector files once these orders come in so that you could produce them in-house, whether it's in a vinyl cutter or whether you're going to burn these screens. And so I don't want to change that design size. So what I could do is just simply click this plus size, and it'll make the photo a little bit bigger. And now it's going to be a much better representation of my design. So when the people go and view this, it's going to look proportionate and appealing for them to purchase this item. And so using these types of art's super easy, but now let's take a look at how you would add personalization to this. And again, adding personalization as a decorator is just going to add much more value to the consumer to make them want to purchase that, because it's a unique item with their name and not just something that anyone else can get off the shelf in a retail setting or something like that. So it's unique, adding more value, and at the end of the day, more profit for you. And so here to add a name, we could do add, and then add text. And then this will allow us to drop a text field in here. And so in our case, I'm just kind of going to use a placeholder, say name here, because we're going to give them that ability to put their own name in there. And here you could, just like before, you could choose whatever font that you want. So I'll just choose one of our system fonts. Click OK. And now, just like bringing in a template, we have a new design element here. And so I'm going to change the color there. And here I changed it back to white to match the front. And so now all I have to do is resize the image to whatever I want it to be. So 2-inch name is usually fairly standard for an adult male shirt. Let me change that. There we go, 2. And then position it wherever it's going to be displayed. And now we obviously don't want just the word name here on that back. We want to make that editable. So here we'll just simply click this edit checkbox, and now they'll be able to add their own name. And what's also nice is you can make it optional. So looking back at that class of 2020 demo site we took a look at, there was a dollar amount added to those. So if you want to add that as an option, click optional. And so now they'll have the choice to add their name. They don't have to, but they can. And then here's where you could supply an upcharge to that. And so here I'm just going to, you have the pricing label, and I'm just going to call this name. So when we set our pricing, we know what we're going to charge for that name. And so here now, that's adding a custom name. So super easy to bring in art or bring in your own templates. So now we just finished our first design with a stock logo on the front and a custom name on the back. And so once you have that set, now we'll save. And then the next step is we'll set our pricing here. And then here we have the variants in just the black, small through extra large. And then here we're going to be able to then set our selling price, as well as assign all of our costs to produce this actual shirt. And so this just helps in reporting services here. So And we're going to set our costs globally here rather than do each one individually. So I could set my costs. And so the options you could put in here, we have our blank costs. So in my case, if I purchase from Transfer Express, it'd be $2.85 for that shirt. But if you purchase this directly from Sanmar for $2.20, you'd put that apparel cost, that blank cost here. And so for easy math, I'm just going to go $3 for my blank. And then if you're managing all the payments, so say you've approached this school, they have agreed, but they say, we want to make about $4 or $5 off every t-shirt. So here, your fundraiser fee, or people use this as the profit that you're going to give back to the client you're setting up this store for. So like I said, if the school wants to make $5 off of every shirt, once you start getting these orders in, then you can run a report that say, hey, this store's over. You made $500 from the store, so you cut them a check back to the school. So that's just helpful in reporting purposes. And then your decorating or your transfer costs, whether you're screen printing this directly in-house or you're cutting vinyl, whatever that transfer or decoration costs you to produce, you'd enter that here. And so if we were screen printing this, I'd say the screen printed front with a custom cut name on the back probably is going to cost us around $3 to $4. That's just a ballpark. So here you put whatever costs that cost you to decorate into that field there. And so now what we know, we now have 4 and 5 is 9, $12 in the cost of this t-shirt for me to produce in-house. And then that will help us determine our selling price. And so here's our global selling price. And so you have two options. We have the first variant, which is the cost of this t-shirt with just the front logo. So let's say if that was $20. And then here is where we're going to add the custom name. And the whatever costs we're going to do there. So in our industry, for a name on the back of a t-shirt, it's usually $3 to $5. So here you could put in $5 and then update it. So we could potentially have a $25 sale for something that cost us $12 to produce. And so the only thing that end user would see would just be the selling price and that option. These costs right here are strictly for your purposes only. Okay. Deborah, do we have any questions to ask or answer?
Yes, we do have a couple questions that came through. So David's asking, what is the average people are charging for the fundraiser fee?
Well, that really depends on the client themselves. Typically, it's anywhere from $3 to $8 is an average of what people want to make for their shirts. But again, it's all dependent on, the client themselves. The schools, they'll probably want to have a higher dollar amount, of profits for these sales versus maybe a local business or something like that setting up employee stores. So it really varies on the type of products and who you're working with as far as what they want to make off of it.
Another question is from Kathy. What are you basing the quantity on for the sale?
The quantity of garments, I assume, or
yeah, I'm assuming, Kathy, if you're listening, type in we need a little bit better more information on your question. While we hear back from Kathy, there's one more from David that he sent, and this is going back to when you were using the designer. Mm-hmm. But I've noticed that on some designs that have a shadow font, you aren't able to modify the two colors associated with the font. Is there a way to do this?
You should be able to in going back into those designs, but rather than cover that here, Deborah, if you could take his information, and then I could have another call with them after the fact and kind of walk them through that for time's sake.
Got it.
Perfect. Any others?
No, but Kathy did respond. So what are you basing your quantities on for the sale, for the transfers?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's kind of tough to gauge the quantities, but you could count on like markets such as a school. You're going to have a higher volume of orders. So that's when you could think of screen printed transfers making sense. But what's nice about this style of stores, how typically people set these up, which we'll cover here shortly, is usually there's a specific amount of time that these stores are open. So in our case, for a senior class of 2020, we're going to open it. Let's say we're going to open it today, and it's probably going to run through at least the last day of online classes and things. So let's just say this store is going to be open for 3 weeks. And when you have a store set up that way with a specific amount of time, how folks typically manage something like this is once that 3 weeks is up, That's when they'll start producing these stores, and that's what's going to help you in minimizing your inventory costs when it comes to apparel and transfers. Because when these orders start to come in, so if it's open for 3 weeks, you might have 150 orders for these t-shirts or items, and so that way it's going to help you manage that inventory to better know exactly what you need to order and avoid any overstocks or understocked items, things like that. So that's ideally how people typically gauge these types of things as far as quantities go.
All right. JR has a question. Do I still order the garment, or does it go through using, I'm assuming it's Spirit Sale and Sanmar? So can you just give a quick explanation of that?
Sure. So if you have a Sanmar account, that's fine. So you could either choose to order them from Transfer Express or simply order them directly from Sanmar. And then once orders start coming in, you're going to be able to generate a purchase order that's just would give you, so let's say this store you had 100 items, it'll break out all the different apparels that you need based off those orders, and then you could print that off and send that directly to Sanmar. And that's why your apparel costs, you're then able to set that whatever it is, because typically if you have a Sanmar account, you're getting a better price point than what we're able to sell them through at Transfer Express. And so you'd be able to then enter that cost, you pay it at Sanmar, generate that PO from Spirit Sale here, and then send it to your Sanmar rep or order them how you normally would. So yeah, you're not forced to order from Transfer Express. You could order still direct from Sanmar or SNS.
All right. We are all caught up for right now.
Okay. And so once we have all these costs set, now we could publish the product itself, and this will just make it go live. So we'll turn this on to yes, and we'll pick a date. And so right now, as soon as we finish this update, if the site was live, it's not live yet, but as if it was live, as soon as we clicked update, this would be available for purchase on this store. I could set them for dates in the future as well if I didn't want it to publish until next week, completely up to you. So we'll update the publish date. And now I'm going to go back to product details really quickly here. And then here we're able to title this product. So if this was School X, Class of 2020. So you could title the product, so when people buy it, it's not going to have that Sanmar product name there. It's whatever we want to call it. And likewise here with the description, this is just the stock description of this blank style, but you could write whatever you want in here. So this benefits local high schools, 2020 grads, whatever you want to say in there. It's screen printed, it's embroidered, however you want to describe that product, you can. And so we'll quickly save that. And so now we just created our first product. And so now we can go back to the store and we can continue to add products as well. And like I said, you could have as many as you want, but I just want to highlight here quickly of how you can make a custom product as well. So clicking on to a custom product, now here I'm able to title it. So let's say we're going to make a Class of 2020 yard sign, 2020 yard sign. And so here, you could enter in whatever your description you want, yard sign, supporting your grad. You could type whatever you want there. And here, product styles, you could name it. If you get this particular product from a specific vendor, you could add that, and you could build out vendors and brands on the back end here within Spirit Sale as well to help you manage any orders that you create through here. Likewise here, if there's any specific colors to this particular sign, I'm just going to assign it as white. And then here we're able to add a specific size. So if it's apparel, you could do extra small through whatever size you want, but this is kind of a custom sign here. So typical yard sign is about 24 by 18. So we'll go ahead and add that size there so that they'll see exactly how big this sign is. And then if you're going to design your own in Photoshop or Illustrator, then you're going to stick with the DIY designer again on that. And then here we're going to be able to add these product views. So here I just want to display a front image view. And then where do I add my picture at? Oh, never mind, it's in product images. And so here we're going to have a front display. We could assign a specific weight for this. And then here we're going to be able to set our selling price. So a yard sign like that is usually going rate about 25 bucks for something like that. And so now we'll publish this product. And again, we're going to make it for today. And so we'll create. And then once this product is created, now we'll go into upload the design that we want to show here. So here we have our front display. If you wanted to display more views of it, if you were going to have a front and a back view, you could do that by simply adding a back view and adding another image there to show the back. And so here I'm going to click on this, and this will allow us to bring in our own graphic. And so here's an example of one. So you would design this in Photoshop, Corel, or Illustrator, whatever you want, open it, and then now this will represent the view that the consumer will see. And forgive my Wi-Fi here, working from home. So now here's our graphic that we have. And so now, just like if we were adding a product, we're going to go into the Design Center now. And now we could add customization here. So you notice we have this blank spot here. And so if we want to give them, just like the apparel, to add their own name in there, we'll just simply add another text field. And then here, your name. And then again, choose whatever font you'd want to display here. So again, just simply scroll through, and choose the one that you want. And then we'll drop that custom name field here, and then we'll resize it just to represent it a little better. And then here we could make this editable. Now, with this big white space here, you're probably not going to want to make that optional, but you most certainly can if you want to. But here, just like that apparel, we'd have that name, and then they're going to have the ability to then put that in there. And so now I could simply save this, and then we could set any variance that we need to change. But we've already set our selling price here. So here, the apparel, you could use this as a blank cost. So if you purchase that's typically those signs are made with a Coroplast board, which you can get from Lowe's, or there's other wholesalers online as well. And then you could put in here your the cost for that Coroplast. So let's say if it's $3 for something like that, and then however much you want that, again, your fundraiser or profit that you're giving back to the school for that. So let's just say $3 for this too. But again, you supply those numbers with whatever you want to and whatever you negotiate with your clients. And so now we have our cost set, and again, we'll just go over here to publish it. And then it's yes, we'll click update. And so now we just set up a store with an apparel product and a custom yard sign. And so then now the next step is to finish up the store itself. And meaning by that is the way it looks. And so here I can go into my designer, and this will allow me to choose another template if I want to. And then I'm just going to stick with this one. And now we'll go into the live editor, and this is going to allow us to then edit this site. And so right now, this is just the generic template that we have in here. And so this was what we named it. But here, instead of using a basic text, if I wanted to put the school logo there, I could do so. So here I could change my logo, brings up a browser on my computer, pick the school logo, click open, and now save it. And now rather than text up here, we'll have the school logo. And likewise here, this is just a basic stock images that we use as a placeholder. I could swap that out for mine as well. So I could click on drop image or click it, and then I could pick whatever image I want here. So if it's basic senior design like that, or maybe I want to do a class photo of the 2020 senior class. And so now I could swap that out there, and now I have my own custom image, and then obviously the products themselves. And you could change font colors and background colors and everything here as well. You're not going to spend too much time here, but you get the idea that you're going to be able to really customize these sites to really make it look like this specific school. And so we have our t-shirt product, and we have our custom yard sign. And so once we have these, the design looking the way we want, we'll click save. And what's nice is, if the school decides, hey, we want to use a different picture or change those, you could come back in and change out the photos even after it's published, whatever you want to do. So you have complete control over how these things look. So once we have our design set, Deborah, we have any other questions that need addressed?
Nope, we're up to date right now.
All right, perfect. And so now, once you have your products added and the site looking the way you want, now it's time to publish the store itself. And so here we'll simply click on open this store to the public. And so within Spirit Sale, you're able to create stores that are going to be open for as long as you maintain the subscription or as long as you want them open. But like I was mentioning earlier, how these sites typically work is you set a specific time frame for an open and a close. And to do that, you just turn the schedule on, pick a date. So today is the 13th. So it's going to open today, and it's going to close, let's just say, the 27th. And so again, you could have them open for as long as you, or as short as you want. And so here from the 13th through the 27th, whoever has this website URL is able to visit it and purchase any of the items that you publish there. Once the 27th is over, the store is closed to the public. So, I mean, you'll still have full access to it. So we know as decorators, it's inevitable on May 28th, people are going to call you, hey, I missed the deadline. Could I still place orders? That's completely up to you how you want to handle that. You could simply place orders manually on the back end, or simply reopen the store for another couple days just to catch anybody else who may have missed it. I would always encourage people to not enter the orders manually, especially if you offer personalization, because then if you enter those orders manually and mistakenly spell somebody's name wrong, then that's kind of on you. But if you open it up for them to get in there, do all the personalization themselves, it's kind of cover your butt kind of thing, where if they do make a mistake, it's kind of on that consumer. And so now, anytime you put a specific amount of time on a site, I always like to display a countdown clock. So in our case, it's going to say this store closes in X amount of days, hours, minutes, seconds. So the consumers are always up to date on how much time they have to purchase. And that's a nice feature, because I think it's almost a sense of urgency in the consumer as they see that countdown clock. So you know what, I'm going to buy this so I don't miss that deadline. So always a nice thing to have. And then here you have a notes field, which allows you to, it's just an open-ended text box that allows the end user to type in whatever they want. So most people will use this as like a special instructions or special request or something like that. So you can kind of use that however you want. You could also make it required. So if you're looking for a certain type of information, like, if you wanted to capture the student's home room for any reason to help you organize orders, you could do that. So a lot of flexibility there, but you could use that however you'd like. And then you could also password protect sites. So if the school only wanted certain people to access this, they could supply you with a password. You could enter it here. And so once somebody visited our URL, they'd have to enter that password in order to go ahead and purchase. And then for fundraising sites, you could also display the different metrics. And what the metrics show is it's kind of just like a little graphic on the site itself that'll say, this fundraiser is for autism awareness, trying to raise $5,000, and it'll kind of keep the consumers up to date on where they are towards the fundraising goal. So very nice tool there for fundraising sites as well. And so now we'll set our options. Now we'll update the site. And so now we just successfully created a new website. So let's take a quick look at the store itself. So we're going to view it. And so here's the store we created. We have our countdown clock showing them much longer they have to purchase, all the customization we did as far as the school logo and the photo itself. And now obviously the products. So clicking into one of these, just like the previous site we took a look at. So now I could purchase this shirt for $20 with just this graphic on here. But here, if I want to add my name, I choose that option, and now the shirt is $25. Customer enters in their information, last name, add to cart. And so I'm going to make a quick purchase here just so you could take a look at what an order looks like when they come through, because Spirit Sale is going to help you manage your orders from start to finish. So continuing to checkout. So here, nothing special here. This is just like any checkout process you've ever went through. Customer enters in all their pertinent information. Here's that notes field again. I could type whatever I wanted in there, but like I said, if you had a special instruction or anything specific you wanted to capture, you can kind of tell them what you're looking for. Continue to delivery. And then we just did a free ship on this, but had you link, let's say UPS, and you were going to ship this via UPS, it would have then used the weight that you supplied and all the shipping information, and then calculated that retail shipping cost for us. Continuing the payment, we just did an offline payment here, but if you link, let's say, a PayPal account, they'd be able to enter their PayPal, and then you would receive those funds directly into the account that you link. And how folks utilize the offline payment, if they're accepting checks or they're going to invoice the school or something like that after the store is over to get payment, this just allows people to check out without actually paying if you want. Complete the order. And so now our order is complete. I'm the consumer. I would receive an email. In addition, you're going to receive an email for any store or any order that you create on any stores here within Spirit Sale. And that's what's nice with Spirit Sale as well. Not only can you sell an unlimited amount of products, you could have as many stores as you want through our environment. So as little as 1 store to 1,000 stores, all open at the same time. No limit here with Spirit Sale. And so now let's take a look at that order. So here, this is where Spirit Sale is going to help you manage these orders. So if I click into my orders tab, we're going to be presented with a list of all the orders that's ever came through our subscription of this. They do come at the order they were received, but I could sort them really any way I want to. So if I want to see a specific date range, I could do that. If I want to see a specific store, I could select whatever store I want to see, and it'll just show me those orders for that specific store. Sort them by production state, shipping states, payment states. You could even show abandoned carts here, so that way you could take a look at that and maybe follow up with the customer on maybe why they didn't complete the purchase. And so here, clicking into my order, because I know this one is ours, so this is just a quick look at what was ordered, how much it was, and here's who ordered it. Now right now it's saying we have a balance due since we did that offline payment. But let's say you sent me a link for Venmo or whatever, and I paid you. You can come into this here, click this capture button, and then now it'll just flag this order as paid. And then now, once you have that set, you could take and schedule production for this specific order. And so when you do that, this is now going to give us a detailed look at the necessary items that we're going to need in order to produce this. So we have our order number. We could rename this to be Store X Order 2 or whatever you want to call here. You could assign it to a specific user. You could add other users to Spirit Sale. So if I was an employee of yours and you assigned this job to me, I'd get a notification that says, hey, you got a new job you have to start working on, set a start date, a due date, and any notes that you want. And now I could take a look at the files necessary for this particular order. So here I need one of these transfers. Here's the customized name, and here's the apparel that it goes on. And now this is a very simple production group with just one singular order. Now, go back to the example before. Let's say this open was going to be open for 3 weeks. You received 100 orders in here. Rather than work on the orders individually, I could create one large production group, let's say of all 100 orders for this store. And now it'll tell me then, okay, you're going to need 100 of these since that's the only graphic. But if someone ordered yard signs and things, then all this information would be in here, including all the personalization and the apparel. And so here, since we're in the DIY, if I'm going to produce all these things in-house, I use Stahls, one of Stahls templates. I don't have this file, but that's okay. I could download the vector PDF, so I could run it on my vinyl cutter. I could take it to my screen room to burn my screens, however you need to utilize that. Likewise, if I'm ordering this, I know I'm going to order these transfers through Transfer Express. I could open this up, write an easy view, lay out my gang sheet to order my goof proof or my stretch litho transfers, however you're going to use that. It'll allow you to take it there. Likewise with the personalization. Download the vector file to cut my names or send them over to Stahls to cut. And then within this, you could generate a lot of nice reports here, going back to the question from Dave about the ordering your apparel. So I can now generate a report for a purchase order. And so now this is just a single order, so it's super easy. But let's think if we had that 100-piece order with 100 t-shirts here, it would tell us all the colors that we needed, all the sizes, and the quantities of each style. So that now here, my price was, let's say, $3 for that blank. But if yours was $2.50, you'd put that in here, generate that purchase order, send it off to Sanmar to get my apparel ordered. So now everything is all organized. And here, there's another nice report here that you could run within the order group. As click back into my order group here. So I could also generate a work order, which is a nice tool here because it's a more detailed look at everything you need for this group. So the apparel needed, all the transfers and quantities needed, but I like too, is it's going to give you a visual of how, let's say if there were 100 orders here, it would tell you all, it would show you exactly how each and every one is to look. Now, we didn't have many variants, so it's this one, it's pretty simple to decorate, but if we had other personalizations or more options here, like a number, for instance, we'd be able to see that visually. And then one last thing I like to show you here to help you manage your day, and because once you start setting up these stores, you're going to have orders, and a lot of orders to deal with. And so what these rectangles here represent are all your individual orders or groups that you might have created. And now this digital whiteboard here, we could create different stages of our production process. So if I have an ordered queue, a cutting queue, a screen print queue, heat press. You could then mimic this however you typically manage your orders all the way to completion. And so when I start working on these order groups, I could then just simply walk them through and keep them in a stage. So daily I could have an update. Okay, what's in my screen print queue today? Maybe I have 4 orders in here that are in my screen print queue, and this is just a nice thing, a nice way for you to manage your orders from start to finish to ensure that you're meeting all your deadlines. And so taking a look there, I mean, that is the process of setting up these stores. But more importantly is think of the different markets and everything that you're going to be able to choose for this. So not only schools, class of 2020, individual school spirit stores, but now here's a couple of other ones that you could even think of. So schools, again, big thing. But let's take a look at now. Start thinking outside the box. What other types of stores could I create for my customers? Like here's an example of a fundraising site. We're seeing a huge trend in this in many of our subscribers to helping out local businesses and things. So, and here's that metrics here that we talked about earlier. So this one is for Pittsburgh's Veteran Relief Fund. The goal is $10,000, and here's where they are. And so Spirit Sale is going to be a great tool for anybody in the decorating business. And what's more important now is I think online selling is now more important now than ever because of what we have going on with this virus. Who knows when we're going to get back to some form of normalcy where businesses are open and people are going and visiting these retail locations. You know, for the time being, this is going to allow you to create these stores for people to purchase and you to get profits, because right now it might be tough because maybe your retail shop is closed and you don't have the walk-in traffic that you used to, and so your sales have taken a hit. Now this is a way for you to bring that back up. And then once you have a couple of happy customers with these sites, whether it's a school or whether it's a local business, more and more are going to flock to you because you did such a great job with somebody else. And not to mention, you know, you're supporting the community, you're supporting the graduates, so you're making yourself look good and, you know, helping out the community as well. So with that said, I mean, that concludes our webinar today. Deborah, do we have any other questions to address?
Yeah, we've got one from Lori. She
Okay.
says, I may have missed something. After the store is closed, will it also give us a total of each size, type of garment that was ordered?
Yeah, so once that store closes, what folks would typically do is then they'll create one order group from that store. Or, you know, in our case, we had an apparel product and we had the yard sign. So maybe they'll create a production group with just the apparel and then other production group with just the sign. But let's say for that apparel group, now ours was easy. We just had one garment. But if we had 3 or 4 garments and you group those all together, we'd be able to generate that purchase order, and it would say you need 15 large in this color, 15 large in that color and style. So yeah, it'll keep track of those and generate a PO for you of each and every garment that you would need to complete that production group. Any other ones?
David's asking if we have a roadmap planned for upgrades to the Spirit Sale platform and if it's public.
We do have, I mean, since this is an in-house developed software, and this is one of our key products that we're going to be focusing on moving forward. So yes, there are a number of updates and advancements that we're planning for this. I don't have any specifics of that or ETAs. But I do know what's closest on the radar is adding more apparel vendors. One of them that is probably going to be launched here over the next few weeks is Augusta Sportswear. Definitely looking to make more advancements going in the designer for more flexibility there. But yes, we are going to be in continuous development of this this software, and you know, any updates that come out while you have this subscription, you know, it's all part of that subscription fee. So if we add a new feature for you, that's just going to be automatically live for you. You're not going to have to pay for any additional upgrades or anything like that.
All right, a couple more questions came in, Mike. Can you use Braintree as a payment option?
Right now, the only payment options we're able to integrate with are PayPal, and for credit card processing, Stripe, and Authorize.net. So for anything outside of those 3 services right now, you'd have to set up that offline payment option. And then once those orders come in, you know, you'll capture their contact information and then, you know, send them the payment link or, you know, however you need to invoice that and collect that payment. And that's another thing we're hoping to add more is more payment services. But again, right now, these 3 are the only ones available right now.
Lori's asking if she can add her own vendor, like a shirt vendor.
Sure. In the back end of Spirit Sale, you're able to set up multiple vendors so that when you add a product, you could assign it to that vendor, so to keep track of them that way as well.
And Carol's asking how you would make the yard signs.
How you make the yard signs. Now, typically, folks use it's a Coroplast sign board. It's called a Coroplast board. And like I said, many hardware stores sell them, Ace Hardware, Lowe's, Home Depot, but you probably have much better luck and different color variants and availability in doing a Google search for Coroplast blanks. And then typically, as far as how they're decorated, either using a basic single color sign vinyl and cutting out your text or wording or whatever. But most commonly, folks are using like a wide format printer, such as a Roland VersaCam or a Mamaki, and they're printing out an 18 by 24 inch decal per se, and then just sticking that onto that Coroplast board. And then there's various different stands and things that you could put it up in your yard or however you want to hang that. So, number of different ways.
Rebecca's asking if they can link their Spirit Sale store to their own website. I know you can, so I'm guessing that she's perhaps asking if it can be embedded.
So right now these are standalone URLs. So now let's say if you had a custom domain for your website. So let's say mydomain.com, but you weren't using it really for anything. You could set up Spirit Sales so that if somebody types in mydomain.com, it'll redirect to your Spirit Sales store. So while we do have many subscribers that have created a Spirit Sales store for themselves, there's no way to mask that domain name just yet. That's a feature we're hoping to add. So essentially you can set up redirects, but if you don't have a web presence at all, you can most certainly use Spirit Sale to create your own website.
All right, and that's it for questions.
All right, everybody. I appreciate everybody's attendance today, and I really encourage you to take advantage of the Spirit Sale and the promo we have going on, because I think this will be a great tool for you starting now, moving forward for the rest of your business. So thanks, everybody. You guys have a great day. Stay safe.